Today, we're going to talk about you gassing yourself up, especially when it comes to finances. Now, finances is part of well-being, and a lot of people want to separate it. They want to separate finances from well-being. They want to separate finances from, spirituality even, but actually everything is a part of your spirituality. Everything is a part of your well-being. And that's what I like to share with my clients when it comes to holistic health. It's bringing the whole body, the whole world, everything is interconnected. And how are we reacting to those things? So I'm really excited about this session today because I'm going to talk to you about financial design, how you can really design your finances around your lifestyle. Because like Brendan said, we're all different. Some people need a lot more finances to live their lifestyle. Some people need a modest amount, and some people are not really sure about what they need. And so first thing, we're going to get clear on like what you need, and we're going to look at your actual finances. And then we're going to have some fun and get into financial design and talk about your ideal finances. And this might be hard for some of you, like, oh man, I don't really want to talk about money. Like it gets really icky, but trust me, this is going to be fun. And I like to share about finances in a way that you go from, again, your actual to your ideal. And usually we end up somewhere in between. So the first thing that I want you to do is one of the quotes, my quotes that you might have heard before, but I want you to write it down because I really wanted to set your intention for our financial design, session today. And that is, you deserve the best life has to offer. You can also write it in the affirmation. I deserve the best life has to offer. Because me personally, I used to limit what was possible for myself and my life because I always accepted the bare minimum. And growing up, I was on food stamps and we got our clothes from the helping hand and I drank powdered milk. And all I knew was like, okay, whatever is the cheapest, that's what we're going to get. When we go to the store, the cheapest food, the cheapest clothes. And that was like being mindful about my money. I thought that I could only afford the cheapest. And that's where my value was. And my parents did the best they can, and they're lovely, and they've grown and evolved since then. But I want to share the truth. The truth is, I didn't start out with the mindset that I have today. So even if you feel like, you know what, you don't have the mindset of like what we're getting into and talking about, or maybe what you've heard before, don't worry, it can be developed just like a muscle over time. You get stronger and stronger. And the more you affirm yourself, the more you believe that you deserve the best life has to offer, and you get to pick and choose and watch those best things come into your life, you're like, okay, there is some realness. There's some science behind the energetics of my thoughts, what I affirm, what I believe, and then what shows up in my life. And that's what I want to just kind of get you in the vibration of today. You deserve the best life has to offer. Okay, so first let's get started with your actual income. What do you make in a year? And no one has to see this, but I want you to write down, what did you make last year? It doesn't even matter if you're making it this year. What did you make last year? Just write it down because we're gonna work it back. We're gonna work it back. So write down what you made last year in the whole year. Divide that by 12 and come up with what did you make in a month last year. Divide that number by 4 so you know how much you make a week, because there are normally 4 weeks in each month. This is just a template that's going to help you reproduce this financial design method, which I created after so many questions from my students. How much should I charge per hour? Like, how much should I? And let's be honest, you have some people in your professions that are making $25 an hour, and then others that are making thousands of dollars an hour. So it's really about what you set up for yourself. That's the truth, and the work you put in and the results you get. I mean, of course, more things, but first you got to believe it and you got to know that what's possible. All right, we divided that by 4 weeks. And now, okay, this is the catcher. If you want to work 7 days a week, which I hope none of you pick 7 days a week, you're going to divide that number by 7. If you want to work 5 days a week, You're going to divide that number by 5. And if you want to work less than that, I want to say at least divided by 2. I hope at least all of us are working 2 days per week. If not, and you're like, I'm retired, just humor me and just divide it by 2. All right. So it's based on how many days a week you want to work. And I think it's really important to give ourselves at least 2 days off a week when it comes to well-being and holistic health. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so 3 days. So I had to divide mine by 3. So if that's your preference, you want a super long weekend to travel and do your thing. But let's be honest, I'm working every single day. I take a breath of air. So we're talking about actual meetings, writing, like focus work, editing things. Like I still do things on my off days and stuff like that. But again, we're getting hours in the chair, hours specifically working on your job. And now we're going to divide that number by the hours. How many hours do you want to work in a day? So are you working 8-hour days? Please, no one put anything past 12 hours. If you work in 12 hours, please go back to my previous sessions and why you shouldn't work that long. And, again, this is hours in the seat. It doesn't mean some days you don't go over. It doesn't mean some days you don't stay up to the butt crack of dawn writing. It just means in general. And this is going to help you, especially if you go back to the scheduling. This is going to help you really get clear on your healthy boundaries, really get clear on your time, really get clear on what you need to do to make the money that you need to make. So I want to work 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. I work 6 hours a day. Ideally, I work 6 hours a day. I start at 11, I end at 5. Look, I work outside of those hours, but those are your healthy boundary hours. So how much did you make an hour last year based on this financial design? You guys share it in the chat. How much? Because this is actual. We're going to go to ideal. Some people are surprised, like, oh my goodness, like actually, I'm undercharging myself. I'm overcharging, where are you at when it comes to your hourly rate based on how much you made, how many days a week you want to work, and so on and so forth. Now, this is your actual. And yeah, everyone might be shy about sharing numbers. So you don't have to share that. You don't have to share that. Someone's sharing $20 an hour, or $19.97, 21 euros. Now we're coming 25. Okay. So this is how much, right? Based on this design that you're making per hour. And you might say, oh, well, I actually want to make $75 an hour. Well, you're going to have to manipulate some things in the chart to make that happen, either working more days or either working more or less hours, and so on and so forth. But someone said it's so much less than what I want. Exactly. And now that's why we're going to go into the ideal. Ideally, to live the lifestyle that you want to live, to have what you want to have, how much do you want or need to make in a year? Y'all share it in the chat. Write it down, share it in the chat. How much do you want to make a year? This is a legit financial template that you can use to explain your rate to your employer, to explain your rate to your significant others, to explain healthy boundaries and why you need to work the hours you need to work, to explain why you need the weekends off so that you can recharge. And this is what I share with my clients and how you can explain, because sometimes we're just grabbing for a pie in the sky. We're reaching out there, or we're doing what Susie did over there or what Tiffany did over there. But now you get to base your finances on the life that you want to live. And this is something you can use forever. And it's a treat to Growth Day, people, because I don't share it outside of my mastermind. So you guys are getting a treat today. How much would you like to make per year? All right, there we go. 10 million a year. I want to see some numbers. How much do you want to make in a year? Do you want to make $1 million? Do you want to make 20,000? Do you want to make 80,000, 50,000, wherever it is? There's no right or wrong, because like Brendan said, as long as you're happy, whether you're making 50K a year or 50 million a year, because there's some people that's making 50 million and they're not happy and they might commit suicide tomorrow. And there's some people that's making 50K a year and they're happy. They get to spend time with their family. So it doesn't matter. The number does not matter. Your happiness with the numbers is what's matter. When it comes to your finances, the number does not matter. It's if you are happy and you're able to live the lifestyle that you want to live with that number. That's what matters most.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.